So today I made some eggplant parmesan and I made it from scratch. So I like to make it from scratch. This is kind of time consuming, it can be. So I always make this on a day where I don't have a whole lot to do. And I like to make my own breadcrumbs. So I use a bowl about this big, and I filled the bowl like halfway. So in these breadcrumbs, I put almond flour, hazelnut flour, garbanzo bean flour. I used some nutritional yeast in here because sometimes you can use freshly grated Parmesan cheese, which is in this jar here, but I decided not to add extra cheese to the breading, but you can do that. You can also use pre-made breading, but I've found that when I make my own, I really like it a lot better, like when I make my own. So that's why I started making my own. Oh, and I also added some Italian seasoning in there. You can add parsley, you can add basil, like you can really add anything that you want to add in there. So the other thing that I do, instead of frying my eggplant, which I already did that, I already took care of cooking my eggplant, but I do it in the broiler. So I just put a little bit of olive oil or oil in the bottom of the pan. So today, because you know I like my flavored olive oils, today I used some basil olive oil, and I used some spicy, this green chili pepper. You all know that I like my spicy stuff. So, hey, how are you? I'm making some eggplant parmesan from scratch. That's what I'm up to. So made my own breading, and I broil it on both sides instead of frying it because it makes it a lot less greasy. And I just like the way it comes out when you don't fry it, when you broil it. The rule of broiling is don't walk away from the broiler. I've done it so many times. That's why I always remind you to not walk away from the broiler, because you will burn your stuff. You think, oh, it's fine. I can go like wash the dishes or go grab something, and inevitably I wind up burning stuff. So don't ever walk away when you're broiling. I'm not making my own sauce today. Sometimes I do that, like I'll do the whole thing from scratch, but today I'm not. I get this really good sauce from Costco, and I really love it. So it has no added sugar in it, which is usually what I look for when I buy my tomato sauce. So now I'm just gonna assemble this. So once you get your eggplant made, and this takes about an hour too, like to bread it yourself and then broil it, it takes about an hour to do that. So just so you know. And I put a little bit of sauce in the bottom of the pan, and then I layer my eggplant. So you're just gonna try to get ones that will stack evenly, like the same size. So this is 2 eggplants. I always do 2 eggplants. And I'll just put some cheese in between. Sometimes I grate my mozzarella. This time I happen to find some already pre-sliced mozzarella cheese. And then you just stack it. I usually do 3. So I do 1 on the bottom, piece of cheese, next, piece of cheese, next, and then piece of cheese on top. And you'll just do that for the rest of them. You'll just layer them all and put your cheese in between, and then pour sauce on top, and then it'll be good to go. So I also make enough usually to freeze some so that I have it for another meal. And remember, when you put stuff in the freezer, I always put a card on there that says how many servings it is, what day I made it, and what it is, so that you're not questioning and like having to open up all your containers in the freezer, which I also call the abyss, because that's what happens when you put stuff in there. It gets totally lost and you forget about it, and then that's really sad. So so that's all for eggplant parmesan, and I think I'm gonna serve risotto with this. So I'll come back and give you a tutorial on how to make risotto if you've never made that from scratch before too. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I'll catch you later.